lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Please join me. Ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to our services this evening. Whether you're joining us here in the room or online via our live stream, we're happy to have you here as we welcome the Shabbat together. This week, we also join with congregations around the country in marking Repro Shabbat, and we're honored to have Sue Straight and Lauren Lasley join us this evening, and we'll be hearing from them later in the service. Sue Straight is the current co-president of the National Council of Jewish Women's Milwaukee section. She is a past president of Milwaukee Jewish Federation's Women's Philanthropy and past board chair of the Harry and Rose Sampson Family Jewish Community Center. Lauren Lasley is the chief of staff at Planned Parenthood Wisconsin. In her role, she provides counsel to advance PPWI as a statewide healthcare leader and educator. With over 10 years in government and public affairs experience, Lauren has served as communications director for the Milwaukee County Executive's Office and deputy press secretary to Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Thank you to you both for being here today. As we prepare to enter into Shabbat, let's take a moment to set aside the stresses of the week and focus on the blessings of this special day. Let's join our voices together and let the beauty and sanctity of this moment lift our spirits as we continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 120. Thank you. And we'll sing the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And let's continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our service for the welcoming of the Shabbat, as we sing Shalom Aleichem together on page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. And we'll continue on page 138 with the singing of Lecha Dodi, and as is our minhag, our custom here at Congregation Sinai, we'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and when we reach the final verse, verse 9, at that point, I would invite you to stand and please face the entrance through which we came this evening. For now, please join me on page 138 for the singing of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse 1. Shamor v'zachor bedibor echad hishmianu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemu tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelchaki mekor habracha merosh mikedem mesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, kiva oreich, kumi uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Please rise for verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvtzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, nekabela, pnei Shabbat, nekabela. Let's continue on page 144 with the Chatzi Kaddish, with the half Kaddish, as we mark the transition from our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our service for the welcoming of Shabbat, and our Ma'ariv service, our service for the evening. Page 144. Yitkadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach elotev yamlich malchuteh B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala u'vizman kariv v'imiru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach Le'alam u'lam haya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran me'alma v'himiru. Amen. Page 146. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam And let's continue on page 149 at the top with a contemporary reinterpretation of the traditional blessing, Ha-Ma'ariv Aravim, our blessing for bringing on evening. Please join me on page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha-Ma'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amecha havta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu Uv'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. Please be seated. And let's continue together with the Ve'ahavta on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shiftecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha v'aderech uveshochbecha uvekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. And let's continue reading together in the middle of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 158. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norat hilot osefele, norat hilot osefele, malechutecha ra'u Yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeili, Zeili, anu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai bai bai bim biri bam, ya ba bai bai bim bam, ya bai bai bim biri bam, ya ba bai bai bim bam. Ay, 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 ya ba 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 bim bam. Ay, 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 ya ba ba bim bam. V'ne'emar הקיף את אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. And let's join together on page 160 with the English for the Hashkivenu. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash. Please rise and join me on page 164 as we come to the heart of our service, to our Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fiya ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei hakol, vezocher chastei avot ve'imahot, umevi gola livnei vneihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer umoshia umagen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor l'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofe cholim, umatir asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. And join me as we read the English together in the middle of page 173. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And on page 175, Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. And at the top of page 177, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel and all people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And let's take just a few moments for our own personal, private prayer and reflection before we join back together again with our Oseh Shalom on page 180. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen. While Shabbat is for us very much a time of joy and celebration, we know that when we come together as a community, there are those among us who are in need of healing. In just a few moments, we're going to sing our Misha Berach together on page 371. And today, we pray for Bill Ross, Katie Pelt-Davis, Alan Turner, Bob Ransom, Patrice R., Michelle Jacoby, Catherine Lamb, Bob Radke, Maccabee Ben Avraham, Kathleen Menchero, Al Myers, Jack Marvin, Donald Metzke, Cindy Kramer, Jim Stillman, Janelle C., Ruth Lowenstein, Natalie Winowich, Carolyn Berman, Leonore Friedman, Tracy Weiser, Judith Heldman, Marcia Reese, John and Paul Wilhelm, Lisa Frolkas, Bill Reed, Sarah Friedman, Leo Weinshell, David Goldenholtz, Leah Nechama Bat Faya, Sarah Bat Bessie Verben, Rivka Fegi Bat Phyllis, Jennifer Houston, Fievel Ben Ruchel Leah, David Werner, Linda Roberts Greenblatt, Neil Pinsky, Luler Hughes, Jean Redman, Didem Eater, Barbara Blick, Herbert Selden, Michael Ross, Michael and Kathy Keeley, Jen Volker, Debbie Guyton, Marilyn and Michael Stillman, William Frank, Joseph Marcus, Carol Willems, Mike Johnson, Doug Lewis, Susie Garrison, Deirdre Tischberg, Rivka Bracha Bat Basha Pesha, David Rector, Karen Horowitz, Bill Nicode, Rick Niebor, Bracha Bat Miriam, Charles Young, Yolanda Woodward, Michael Ertis, Vera Matic, Avram Ben Barris, Herb Bratt, Truth Sophia Freeman, Marlon Levy, Zisa Elka Batchasia, Bob Neubauer, Carol Para, and Madeline Para. And if there is anybody else you're thinking of today, I would invite you to hold their names in your hearts as we sing our Misha Berach together on page 371. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe berach imoteinu mekor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. As I mentioned earlier in the service, we are blessed today to have Sue Straight and Lauren Lasry joining us to share some words with relation to this Shabbat, which has been declared across the country as reproductive Shabbat, the Shabbat for reproductive freedom. As part of this, I believe we're also going to say a prayer together, which was on a yellow sheet, which I'm hoping that you were all able to pick up a copy of as you came into the sanctuary this evening. And if not, we still have some copies outside, so please do feel free to grab one quickly. For now, it's my pleasure to welcome up Sue and Lauren to share some words with us this evening.
Hey guys. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much, Cantor. It's wonderful to be here. Congregation Sinai joins more than 1,500 congregations and community centers celebrating this important recognition of reproductive rights. And I'm really proud that our community has shown up this well. So thank you. One of the most famous phrases in the Torah makes its appearance in this week's Parsha, Mishpatim. It's often been used to characterize Jewish faith as a whole, and it consists of just two words, Na'aseh v'nishma, literally, we will do and we will hear. Another interpretation, not the plain sense of the text, but important, has been given often in modern Jewish thought. In this view, Na'aseh v'nishma means we will do and we will understand instead of we will hear. Here, the Torah scholars concluded that we can only understand Judaism by doing it, and by performing the commands and living a Jewish life. In the beginning is the deed. Only then comes the grasp, the insight, the comprehension. Judaism is a community of doing rather than hearing. This is one of the reasons that I'm so proud of my involvement with NCJW, National Council of Jewish Women. I'm definitely a doer, and this is the group that helps me work towards justice for women, children, and families. Tonight, I want to share with you our NCJW's stand on abortion and healthcare access, Judaism's view on abortion, and some thoughts on community action to ensure that anybody who can become pregnant has a choice on whether or not to carry that pregnancy. And I'll encourage you to take action at the polls to make sure your voice is heard. For over 125 years, NCJW has boldly imagined a world where women, children, and families are fully valued and fully supported. From its beginning, NCJW has been on the front lines of the fight for reproductive health, rights, and justice, and continues this critical work today at the local, state, and national levels. Our local section, the Milwaukee section, is an active, energized group of women that takes its advocacy work seriously as we present programs on and advocate for women's health, wellness, equal voting rights and fair mapping, fair court systems, and beneficial community services. Right now, our fight is very local as we seek to allow pregnant persons to access abortions and reproductive health care here in Wisconsin. We cannot allow an 1849 law from before the Civil War to restrict our rights and access in 2023. Different religions have differing beliefs on when human life begins. Some believe it begins at conception. Others, like Judaism, believe that a fetus is not a full person until it's born. NCJW believes, as the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees, that no one religion belief should be enshrined in law or dictate public policy on any issue, and this includes abortion. Healthcare access and reproductive health services should be guaranteed to all people, no matter religion, race, or ability to pay. At NCJW, we know that abortion is a safe, essential component of healthcare and a basic human right. Along with the Union for Reform Judaism, we recognize that each pregnant individual has the sole authority to make decisions about their pregnancy. Religious leaders and pastoral counselors provide spiritual guidance to people facing this decision and believe that this complex decision is ultimately a personal, moral one. That choice should not be restricted by burdensome regulations or the availability of resources. In the U.S., while various religious groups might hold differing views on abortion, 73% of Americans, Democrats and Republicans, believe pregnant people should be able to have an abortion if needed. In this week's Parsha, Mishpatim, our Torah also discusses Jewish law's view on pregnant women and the rights of the fetus. Exodus 21 reads, "When two men fight and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensues, the one responsible shall be fined. But if other damage ensues, the penalty shall be a life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth," and so on. In the history of Jewish interpretation, these verses have been understood to indicate a clear distinction between the potential life of an embryo or fetus and the life of a living human being like the pregnant woman. That essential distinction that a fetus, while precious, is not equivalent to a fully formed human life lays the foundation in later Jewish law for a relatively permissive view of abortion. Because pikuach nefesh, the saving of a human life, always takes precedence in Jewish law over other concerns, the morality of abortion in Judaism is always tied to safeguarding the welfare and mental health of the pregnant woman. This historic direction guides NCJW in its battle to assure basic health care access and reproductive care access for everyone. In addition to our traditional focus on women when discussing abortion care, abortion restrictions actually affect anyone capable of becoming pregnant, including women, transgender men, non-binary, intersex, and gender non-conforming people, and others in the LGBTQ community. Fear of discrimination leads LGBTQ people to delay abortion care. They may refrain from seeking abortion care or hide their sexual orientation or gender. Changing the way that the healthcare community, elected officials, and advocates speak about abortion access will more accurately represent everyone affected by abortion restrictions and bring in the complex intersections and experiences of transgender and non-binary abortion seekers. NCJW and its partners are working to make sure everyone is provided affordable care with dignity and respect for whomever that patient is. Our Jewish values compel us to support full access to safe and legal abortion care as basic health care. Every single person should be able to make their own moral and faith-informed decisions about their body, health, and future. In NCJW's Milwaukee section, we work from our hearts to improve the lives of everyone in our community. Tonight, I have a challenge for you that are here and everybody that's online. I ask you to join me and make your voice heard by taking action and voting next week. There's a critical primary election on Tuesday, February 21st. The election field includes 4 candidates for 1 Supreme Court justice seat in the state. The 2 top vote getters will then compete in the general election on Tuesday, April 4th. The Supreme Court election winner will join the Wisconsin Supreme Court for a 10-year term and decide cases ranging from voting rights and labor rights to women's rights and education policy. The choice our voters, you all, make for the next Supreme Court justice will affect Wisconsin residents for a decade and should be considered carefully. In addition, 4 candidates seeking to fill 1 Senate seat for those of us living in District 8, retiring Senator Alberta Darling's district, will also be on the ballot. The state Senate winner will serve a 4-year term, and that too is a critical race for our voice in Madison. Information on these elections is outside on the table. Now, I want to introduce one of NCJW's important community and national partners from Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin. Lauren Lasry is the Chief of Staff at Planned Parenthood, as you've heard, and has also, she works with the leadership to implement and execute strategic initiatives for Planned Parenthood. Lauren currently is on the board of the Milwaukee Chamber Theater and the review committee for the Milwaukee's Finest Scholarship Foundation. She lives in Milwaukee with her husband Alex and daughter Eleanor, and she holds a bachelor degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Lauren, tell us about Planned Parenthood. Thanks.
Pull it up, thank you. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. It's been a minute since I've been up here, so I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous and a little out of practice. Thank you, Sue, for everything that you shared, and thank you to the whole congregation for welcoming us here tonight. It's still not often that we are welcome to speak to an audience, so we really do appreciate when we are welcomed and heard. So we really appreciate you, like Sue and like Cantor said. I'm Lauren Lasry. I work for Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin. I've been there since 2020, like right at the start of the pandemic, so it has been a wild ride. Thank you. I'm also very short. Thank you. So Sue touched on a lot of the advocates' work, a lot of the work going on with elections and all of that, so I just wanted to spend tonight and give people a little bit of a look into what Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin does in the health centers. I know a lot of people think we were closed, but our doors have been open through COVID. After the fall of Roe, not one of our health centers was closed because of any of that. And in fact, we have expanded our services, which is great. I can also touch a little bit on what Planned Parenthood Advocates does, but we are under the same organization, and we do operate very, very separately for law reasons. So as I said, our doors have and are open. We have an incredibly dedicated team across the state who are really committed to providing these necessary reproductive health care. We serve about 60,000 people across the state at 22 health centers. There's 5 here in Milwaukee, 2 in Madison, and then the rest across the state. A vast majority of the people we serve are near or below the federal poverty line and rely on Medicaid as their form of insurance. But that said, we do accept people of all ages, of all anyone. I have received great care at Planned Parenthood, and anyone here is welcome to become part of our community. In fact, this week we launched vasectomy services, so really anyone is available, and that's going really well. In the last year, after the fall of Roe, we added pre and post-abortion care, as well as patient navigation. So when our patients do come to us looking for care, we are able to help them beforehand with anything that they may need, help them with resources if they do need help getting to Illinois or other states, and then to come back and help with some of that aftercare afterwards, because nowhere in Wisconsin, because of this law that Sue mentioned, is providing abortion care at the moment, which is why voting matters. In the last few years, we, during COVID, really ramped up telehealth, so that's huge right now. Launched an app called PP Direct, so you can log on and get birth control that way. We're just now able to offer it if you do have Medicaid. We have direct referrals with places across the state where if you do go through with your pregnancy, we have postpartum care. We have miscarriage management. If you are wanting to change the gender assigned at birth, we have gender-affirming hormone therapy. We have syphilis treatment and testing. There's at-home STD testing, and a bunch of other just reproductive health services that many of us may have used in our younger days, including birth control and STD testing. And I do just want to take a moment and thank a lot of these people I recognize, I've seen at rallies, I've seen at house parties. So the energy and the goodwill and support and kindness that we've had wrapped around us in the past year really has it's just made everything bearable and pretty amazing. And we really couldn't continue this work without that kind of a support. But as everyone does know, we have an incredible amount of political attacks locally, statewide, nationwide. Next week, where people are, going to have a vigil at some of our health centers, still, around right to life. So it is with people in this room and with the support that our work can continue and together advance and expand this type of care for people across the state. And it really does show what kind of can be accomplished if all of our time and energy and resources were focused on healthier Wisconsin instead of some of these attacks. So I do not want to take up much more time, but I just do want to reiterate that we won't back down. We're not going to stop fighting for our patients, for our community, and just for advancing sexual and reproductive health services. We do have hope. Even before the loss of Roe, abortion access in Wisconsin was extremely limited and restricted. There were an incredible amount of hoops you had to jump through and emotionally kind of bear if you wanted to access this kind of services. A lot of people I know who had wanted pregnancies that were not going to be successful still had to look in an ultrasound twice, even though they knew the viability of that baby was not there. So we will continue to fight, even if that access is restored, where there's still going to be a lot of work to do until safe and legal abortion is a reality for everyone without those exceptions. We do want to, at some point, refocus our effort away from these abortion bans and towards policies that improve health equity and health disparities and health outcomes. But in this current moment, we are looking to advance to get rid of this law and to have a Supreme Court that we could approach with some of these kinds of lawsuits. So as Sue said so beautifully, it is up to us to use our voices and make that power to take back that control of our health care decisions and the freedom to access this kind of care right here in our backyard. People having to go across state lines and figure out travel, or even, talk with a TSA agent about why you are flying somewhere else. These aren't the type of conversations someone wants to have when they just want to go to their doctor who they know and trust to have this type of procedure. So we do have people in the community that are here to support. We have people at Planned Parenthood who are dedicated and were basically born to do this work. We have reproductive health allies in the government right now, the governor and the attorney general. There's people in the state senate and the assembly. We have national leaders. Everyone does have abortion care at the top of their agenda right now. And in this moment, we do have hope that there is going to be this future. There's an awareness that I don't think that we've seen before. And we do need to keep contacting our elected leaders and talking about these issues. I can't, for legal reasons, talk about some of the advocates' work, but you can go to ppwi.org if you want to sign up for some of those things. But in the meantime, just keep having these conversations with your friends and your neighbors and your families. We're going to see commercials left and right that they get a little annoying. But when you do have those person-to-person conversations with someone you trust, I do feel like that's when people's opinions start shifting and people's ears are a little more open. So thank you. I know I am a room of people that are not bystanders, so I do think that together we're gonna work to restore this health care access and really make Wisconsin a better place. Thank you.
We have one more prayer for you. You have a prayer for reproductive freedom, and if you'll join us, that would be great. May we always remember that each person is created in the image of the sacred, endowed with the inherent right to autonomy and respect. May we create a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. May we understand our obligations to one another. We are all inherently holy and should be treated as such. May we find within ourselves the collective will to create a just society in which reproductive justice, the holy right to own the personhood of one's own body, to have or not have children, to raise any children in safety and community, is foundational. May we endow each other with the strength, resolve, and courage we need as we walk together towards a liberatory world. May we always follow the leadership of those most impacted by the harms of reproductive oppression. May we listen and learn. May our country become a place of true liberty and justice for all. May our relationships with each other be ones of care and deep respect. May we walk together on the path of community as we work together to ensure truly accessible abortion care for all. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today and for sharing those powerful words with us. And thank you also for everything that you're doing. As we begin to bring our service to a close with our Aleinu on page 586, I would invite you to just try and use this as a time to think a little bit about what we've just heard. The Aleinu as it is, our prayer where we kind of acknowledge that while we talk about our search and our hope for a perfect world, that it's on us to get out there and be a part of creating that world and forming it in the way that we want it to be. Please rise and join me on page 586 as we sing the Aleinu together. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. In a few moments, we'll recite our Kaddish Yatom, our Mourners Kaddish, together on page 598. And this week, our community remembers the following who have died within the past 30 days. Nicholas Winowich, Leanne Borkowitz, Tom St. John, Daniel Ari Porrat, Uri Malul, Ariel Stern, and Morty Blutstein. And we also remember the following who've died within the past year. Barbara Wyman, Ralph Marshall Gorin, Edith Lank, Susan Melanie Siegel, Don Polacek, Bev Colton, Brian Spring, Ruth Zubatsky, Jay Aronoff, Alan Rieselbach, Esther Stein-Arnold, Rosemary Bloom, Elmer Gary Martin, James A. Goodman, Jan Goldberg, Bobby Driggett, Evelyn Garfinkel, Judith Selinsky, Brian Robert Ellis, Janet Joyce Meister, Rosalie Kahn, Harry Wallace, Ted Roth, Donald P. Styler, Elsie Kanan, and Doji Sherman. And we also mark the Yahrzeit, the anniversary of death, of Ben Berger, Sarah Lynn Bernstein, Charles Brenner, David Brickman, Gilbert S. Feldman, Jerry Feldman, Eldred James Fishbane, Belle Freed, Dr. Leon Gilman, Warren Goldstein, Tina Huang, Jacqueline Kravitz, Dr. J. Larkey, Dr. Jules D. Levin, Adolph J. Levy, David Levy, Dr. Hazel A. Lowenstein, Rose May, Edward Michelot, Oscar A. Rosoff, Henry Schaub, Clarence Schmidt, Marcia Siegel, Tessie Stemmerman, Theodore Stern, Shirley Wagner, Avram Warschauer, and Elaine A. Worth. And if there is anybody else you're remembering this evening, or anybody whose name I unintentionally mispronounced, I would invite you to share their names with us now. And please join me for the Mourners Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach, li'alam ol almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudasha b'richu, la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlamar rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu va'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all people, to which we say Amen. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Allison Hayden, or Ellie Hayden, part of the Board of Directors here at Sinai, and we're glad you could all join us, especially our speakers. So to our announcements for tonight, we are grateful for the contributions made this week to our Sinai community in memory of Tom St. John, Shirley Wagner, Warren Goldstein, Ben Berger, Morty Blunstein, Sarah Lynn Bernstein, David Hazel Lauenstein. And please join us for the following upcoming programs. The Liturgy of Friday Night with Cantor Richard Newman on Tuesdays, so February 21st, 28th, March 7th, and 14th via Zoom. My Sinai family presents Sinai on Ice curling this Sunday at 6 p.m. Please arrive by 5:45 p.m. at the Milwaukee Curling Club in Cedarburg, RSVP through the e-news. Sages, a 3-part series, Shomer Haguf, taking care of your body and mind, February 23rd, March 9th, and March 23rd, from 1 p.m. till 2:15 p.m. via Zoom. Register through the e-news. And a Purim at Sinai is again in person this Monday, on Monday, March 6th, and we have the Pearl Carnival starting at 5 p.m., followed by the Megillah reading and our spiel, which is Scooby-Doo themed this year. And we have our first rehearsal on Sunday. Very looking forward to it. And that will start at 6:30 p.m. So please refer, as always, to your Tuesday and Friday Sinai e-newsletter for the latest Sinai program and information. Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks, Ali. Please rise and join me on page 123 as we bring our service to a close with the Kiddush, after which we'll move out to the foyer, where I would invite you to please join us and for conversation as we have our Onig together. And if you do have any questions about our service this evening, about the conversation we've had, then please do feel free to ask. Anyway, please join me on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uv'ratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat l'chaim. And please join me for the Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining us this evening.